Hello everyone. Today we are going to start the first chapter of class ninth economics, that is the story of village Palampur. It is a hypothetical village, an imaginary one, which tries to give a broader outline about what are the important production activities that takes place in a village setting. With this story, we will try to understand what are the important factors of production which takes place in any economy, in any village or township economy system. Okay, so the story starts like this, that the farming is the main production activity, main activity, economic activity actually, of this Palampur village. Other economic activities also takes place at a smaller scale, like small scale manufacturing, dairy farming and transportation. Let's start with the introduction. Go briefly with this. We will try to go briefly with this. This village Palampur is well connected village with the other nearby villages and the towns. One of the important village is Raiganj village, which is 3 kilometers far away from Palampur. And apart from that, the road system is also well developed and electricity supply is also there, uh, which is really helpful for the farmers to develop irrigation system. Then this village has 450 families which are residing. Out of this, 80 families belong to upper caste, and they have big houses, big plots of land. On the other hand, one third population of the village, almost one third means 33% population of the village, are SCs or the Dalits, means the low caste people, and they have small houses. They live in the corner of the village. Now apart from that, this village has two primary school, one high school, and a public healthcare system center is also there, which is run by the government, and one private dispensary is also there where people used to go for treatment. So with this description we have understood that from this imaginary village, that it is a well developed village with well developed system of roads, means transportation system, electricity system, communication system, medical facilities, schools are also available. Everything at an adequate level is available over here. Then coming on to the most important topic, the why they have given this story. The main purpose, this is actually the most important topic in economics, with which economics starts. Okay, to understand economics we focus on four factors of production which work together to which work together in an economy and helps in the production process. So the basic idea for giving this story is to understand how this village setting is working, how the people are engaged in different types of economic activities, and what are the factors of production. So let's try to understand in a simple, most simple way, the organization of production. The first requirement for production is land. Remember, land is a natural resource. Okay, uh, apart from land we have water, it is also a natural resource. Forest, minerals, all these are natural resource. Secondly, remember about land, that this land is fixed. Okay, this land is a fixed resource. The second important factor of production is labor, but this labor is not fixed. Okay, this can be abundant, this can be abundantly available, this can be scarce also depending upon the situations. Okay, and who is a labor? A person who will work. Okay, a person who will work is a considered as a labor. Okay, now labors are also of different categories. Some will be uh, some will be skilled laborers and some will be unskilled laborers. Who are called skilled laborers? Those who are educated, who have uh, knowledge of sophistication, like engineers. Okay, software engineers, computer engineers. Okay, they are specialized skilled laborers. And those who are not that much educated, who are well versed in physical work. Okay, who go for manual work, like we can say a farmer. Okay, then a construction laborer, a construction laborer. All these are unskilled laborers. The third requirement is physical capital. Okay, we can also call it as capital. What is capital? Remember, under capital, we actually categorize into two subtypes. Capital can be physical capital also, human capital also. So here the third requirement they have given is physical capital. Try to understand what is this physical capital. Physical capital are the variety of inputs which are required at different stages of production. Now what are these inputs? There are in the inputs are again classified into two types. Okay, it can be either fixed in nature, it can be either working in nature. Okay, the fixed uh, inputs are also called fixed capital. What are fixed capital? All those things which are fixed in nature, which requires one time investment. For example, tools, machines, okay, buildings which are constructed for production purpose. They are constructed or purchased once the production starts. Okay, they're not purchased every year or in every season. We require one time इन्वेस्टमेंट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल सपोज आपने एक फैक्ट्री कंस्ट्रक्ट की वहाँ पे प्रोडक्शन शुरू करने के लिए. फैक्ट्री का कंस्ट्रक्शन हो गया, आपने सारे इक्विपमेंट्स मशीन्स परचेज कर लिए, इंस्टॉल कर लिए, प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट हो चुका है. आप बार बार मशीन को चेंज नहीं करोगे अनटिल एंड अनलेस वो मशीन पूरी तरह से ख़राब ना हो जाए, या फिर हो सकता है 3-4 साल के बाद या 5 साल के बाद उसकी सर्विसिंग करानी पड़े आपको. दैट्स ऑल. Okay, that much work you have to do in that. Okay, not anything else. Not you are going to uh, build the factory again and again. Okay, and secondly, the working capital is those capital which requires uh, investment every year. Okay, it has to be renewed every year. For example, the raw materials which you are purchasing, okay, for production, either in the agricultural field और इन द फैक्ट्रीज यू रिक्वायर रॉ मटेरियल्स एवरी ईयर. ओके, एक बार आपने रॉ मटेरियल्स ख़रीदा, प्रोडक्शन किया, प्रोडक्शन होने के बाद रॉ मटेरियल्स यूज़ हो गए. अब अगेन दूसरी ईयर जब आप प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट करेंगे आपको फिर से रॉ मटेरियल्स परचेज करना पड़ेगा. तो इट रिक्वायर्स एवरी ईयर यू आर गोइंग टू purchase those. Okay, you are bringing new raw materials, so that is not stagnant, that is working in nature. Secondly, the money. Okay, once you have invested money, that money is used up in the production, the produced goods are sold in the market, profit is generated, then again that profit money, surplus money, will be used to purchase the raw materials. So money is also not stagnant in your hand. पैसा हाथ में रुकता नहीं है. Okay, that will be invested every year so that production should continue. Okay, so remember, physical capital is of two types. One is fixed capital, the second is working capital. And the fourth important factor they have given is the human capital. Human capital means we people, okay, who are required for production. अब production करेगा कौन? हम human beings ही करेंगे. Okay, an entrepreneur will be required to start production. Without an entrepreneur, no production can go on. There is a land, there are laborers who don't have money, who require work, there is capital. Okay, there are tools, machines, everything is available, but who is going to start the production? It is the human capital or the entrepreneur. Okay, that is required to start production. So these are the four important factors of production which are essentially required. Now you can see in this picture and try to identify who will be considered as a fixed capital, who will be considered as a working capital, who is a laborer over here. You can see picture 1.2, a factory with several laborers and machines. Okay, so every production is organized by combining land, labor, physical capital and human capital, which are called factors of production. Remember students, whatever I have highlighted in yellow color, you must underline those are important points. Next, now we will try to understand each of these four factors in detail. This chapter revolves around all these four factors of production. So basically in this first chapter we are understanding the four factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. First is land. They have talked about Palampur village, that farming is the main production activity in Palampur village. Almost 75% of the people working are dependent on the farming for their livelihood. Now, remember this land is fixed in nature, okay, and majority of families in Palampur village are farmers. They have land either small or large in size, and this land is used for production. Every year they produce crops. Now, in this purple box, please underline these points that the standard unit of measuring land is hectares. How this land will be measured? It is measured by a unit called hectare, and 1 hectare is equal to the area of square with one side measuring 100 meters. Okay, so you can make a box, a square box. Each side you can write 100 meters, 100 meters, 100 meters, and 100 meters. So 1 hectare will be 100 meter into 100 meter, or we can say, yes, 100 square meters. Okay. The next is there a way one can grow more on the same piece of land? Now a question has been raised over here, that is it possible to grow more crops on the same piece of land? क्या ये possible है कि हम ज़्यादा crops grow कर सके एक ही piece of land में? Yes, it can be possible. There are two ways. First, you remember one thing, that land is fixed in nature. You cannot increase the size of land area. Okay, suppose you have 2 hectares of land that is fixed in nature, that cannot be increased. So what are the other alternative ways to increase production during the same piece of land? You can go for two methods. Okay, one is multiple cropping methods. You can grow more than one crop in an year on a same piece of land. That will be one way. And the second way will be use of modern farming techniques to increase production on the same piece of land. Now, what the people of Palampur village do, they grow kharif crop during the rainy season, that is jowar and bajra. These are fodder crops, and they mainly use this crop to feed their animals or cattle. Okay, what are fodder crops? Fodder crops are those crops which are used for animal feeding. Okay, so jowar and bajra are fodder crops. And secondly, they also grow potato during December and October and December. Okay, and in the winter season, that is in the rabi season, they grow wheat. Remember, wheat is a rabi crop, rice is a kharif crop. Apart from rice or paddy, jowar and bajra are also kharif crops. So people of Palampur village mainly grow three crops in a year, so as to increase production on the same piece of land. Okay, sometimes they also use a part of their land for cultivating sugarcane. Okay, sugarcane is again used as a raw material for jaggery, gur, and sugar. So this sugarcane is used for making sugar. The main reason why the farmers are able to grow three crops in a year is because of the well developed system of irrigation. Now, I have told you in the beginning only that this village is well connected with the irrigation system because of good supply, well connected supply of electricity. Because of electricity supply, the farmers are able to run the electric run tube wells and are able to irrigate their land areas. So as a result, with the supply of electricity, irrigation system have been improved a lot, and the farmers are able to cultivate a larger area. And here it is written that by the mid 1970s, the entire cultivated area of 200 hectares was irrigated. So they are talking about Palampur village. With the supply of electricity, irrigation systems have developed, improved, and now they are able to irrigate almost all of the agricultural land. If we talk about the condition of India, we can say that India don't have a well developed irrigation system, and most of the farmers are very poor, so they are not able to irrigate their land. They are mainly dependent on the monsoon rainfall for irrigation facilities. Okay, as a result, they are not able to increase the production from the same land. Mainly the riverine plain areas and the coastal regions of the country are well irrigated, because in the riverine regions, fertile soil is available every year. The river continues to deposit fertile sediment and alluvial soil with the flood plains. Okay, along the flood plains, and the coastal regions are also very fertile region. What are coastal regions? The region between the Ghats, Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats, and the sea, Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. The region between that are the coastal plains of India. They are very fertile land, and in those regions, it is obvious that production every year is comparatively more as compared to the other regions. Also, the riverine regions have better cultivation, better production every year as compared to the other regions. If so, we can see that in India, less than 40% of the irrigation is done even today. Okay, till today. Okay, to grow more than one crop on a same piece of land in a year is known as multiple cropping. Please underline this, it is very important. Just now we have seen that the farmers are able to cultivate three crops or more than three crops in a year. That is nothing but the multiple cropping method. Okay, if we are able to grow more than one crop on a same piece of land, it is called multiple cropping. They are mainly growing wheat, bajra, sugarcane and potatoes. Okay, now see this table. Cultivated area over the years 1950-51, the amount of cultivated area was 129 million hectares. In 1990-91, it increased to 157 million hectares. It is increasing. And p these from 2010 we are having provisional data. What is provisional data? Provisional data is not the original data. It is based on certain standards, and it is used till the original data is available. Actually, it is calculated on the basis of sampling method. You will read about all these in higher classes. Just understand that provisional data are also used, but these are not the original data. Okay, but it will not be wrong to use provisional data. If original data is not available, you can use provisional data. Okay, so this data is original and it is taken from Pocket Book of Agricultural Statistics 2017, Directorate of Economics and Statistics, Department of Agriculture. See, they have plotted this on the bar graph, in the form of bar graph. You do this in your classwork notebook. It is important to discuss, is it important to increase area under irrigation? Why? Yes, definitely it is important to increase area under irrigation. Yes, definitely it is important to increase the area under irrigation so as to increase the overall production. And secondly, the farmers should also not have to wait for the monsoon. Okay, sometimes in some year the monsoon is not good. In those years they will definitely make use of the irrigation facilities which are available. In case of lack of irrigation facilities, the production will go down and the farmers will be under debt conditions. Okay, especially the small and the poor farmers. So it is better and important also to increase area under irrigation. You try to answer this question also in your classwork notebook. Make this table, okay, bar graph, also in your classwork notebook by writing this data. It is important for your exam point of view. Now the second method how you can increase production on the same piece of land is use of modern farming methods. Okay, use of modern farming methods. With the use of modern farming methods, we can increase the overall yield. What is this yield? Yield को हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं उपज. ओके, एक स्मॉल पीस ऑफ लैंड में जो प्रोडक्शन करते हैं हम, एग्रीकल्चरल क्रॉप्स कल्टीवेट करते हैं, हार्वेस्टिंग के बाद जितना क्रॉप कल्टीवेट होता है उसमें से वो क्या होता है, वहाँ का यील्ड होता है. फॉर एग्जांपल 1 हेक्टेयर लैंड में मैंने इस साल 2 टन्स ऑफ वीट कल्टीवेट किया. दैट 2 टन्स ऑफ वीट इज़ नथिंग बट द यील्ड. ओके, यील्ड, उपज. इस साल मेरी उपज कितनी हुई? 2 टन्स ऑफ वीट. ओके, मैंने इतना कल्टीवेट किया अपने 2 हेक्टेयर्स ऑफ लैंड से. Now, what are these modern farming methods? In the 1960s, green revolution came into effect. Okay, what was this green revolution? Green revolution was actually चल